Hey, it's Liam Killen. Like most of my video content, this video stems from a question from one of you guys on TikTok. Actually, it really has become one of my favorite platforms and just a great way to communicate directly with you, much like YouTube actually. That being said, make sure to hit up the comments if you have any comments or questions throughout this video. I'm pretty good at getting back to you guys on that. Humanizing your drums, I'll be showing you 3 different ways of doing that. And let's take a second to forget about DAW wars. I feel like if I mentioned that I'm a Logic Pro 10 user, people that use other DAWs are just gonna leave. Like probably a bunch of you just left after I made that statement. No, but there's basically 0 DAW integration in this video. These are 3 simple techniques that you could use universally in any DAW. I'm ready. Are you ready? Let's take a look at this first technique. So I've got some kicks and I've got some snares plugged in right here. So this is obviously just like stiff as all hell right now. And my first question to you is, are you a human? The first technique is for you
as a human
to record over top of this. At this point we have our mid and low frequencies, so we're sticking to a high frequency. There's definitely something within your household that you could use to play over top of this. It could literally be anything. I'm sure you have some sort of perk, maybe a shaker. If not, you could just clap over top of this. I know at this point a lot of you are like, oh shit, I don't have a mic. See you later. Okay, but wait, do you have a phone? I know you do. If you've got a mic set up, you know what to do. For those of you who don't have a mic set up, I'm with you right now. I've got my phone stand and I am ready to record. Literally just going to utilities, voice memo, and that's how we're gonna do this. So starting with the shaker. I'll give a count in here and we'll record into the iPhone. Here we go. 3. That's it for shaker. For track 2, I'll do the exact same thing. I'm gonna back off the mic a little bit, otherwise it might just peak too much and not sound good. Here we go. Give myself a count in. 2, 3, and. One more round of claps. 3, and. Okay, good old airdrop. Be with you in a second. Okay, so I've airdropped these over. I've stacked them up. I haven't listened to them yet. Let's hear what they sound like. This is by no means a finished product, but now we have some leeway to maybe add other layers. There's definitely like a sloppy humanness to it from my sloppy playing. This is like the first and I think best step to humanizing your parts is to actually just play the parts yourself as a human.
with all of your wonderful imperfections.
Obviously, even if your timing's a little bit off, there's plenty of leeway in post-production to move things around or EQ things, compress things. The second step requires a vinyl simulation plugin. I've got a free one for you, and it's quality too. I use it pretty often. It's called Vinyl by Izotope. I've left a download link for that in the description. So now let's say you're working with a new drum loop, something that maybe sounds like this. I think that this already sounds cool, but one might say that those hi-hats or the higher frequency drums are a little bit too stiff maybe, and that's where this vinyl plugin comes in. We're specifically going to look at the warp function as well as the scratch function here on the right. I find that with this plugin, when the drums are soloed, it might sound a little bit out of place, but when you have a full band playing, it blends much better. Find that sweet spot, it changes the pitch and consistency of the hi-hats, giving it a bit more of a human feel. I usually only use this sort of technique on high frequencies like hi-hats or maybe perks, shakers, things like that. I sometimes use it on drums as well, like the snare usually, but in that case I would layer the snare with something that's not warped. Oh, and by the way, this is my drum beat. If you want this one and several others that sound like it, Link in description. Technique 3 humanizes your drums and also just makes them sound a lot cooler. Even if you're not going for that human flavor, this is a technique that might work for you otherwise. It's kind of in these days for drums to be consistent, but also inconsistent. What I mean by that is maybe for the snare to be way ahead of the beat, or maybe for the hi-hat to be way behind the beat. It makes my head go. Let's take a second and experiment with this with the first beat that we came up with. I have some general rules that I like to follow when using this technique. I pretty much always leave my kick straight down the middle on the grid. I like that as a solid foundation. It's the other drums that I end up moving around, quite liberally sometimes. We're gonna take the snare and put it way ahead of the beat. Same sort of thing with the hi-hats. We're going to take them and put them behind the beat. I'm also going to add that Izotope vinyl plugin to the hi-hats as well as the snare drum. I'll add a quick layer over top of the snare drum as well, which is not being warped, to sort of solidify it and make it more punchy. Kind of feels like you're falling down a flight of stairs or something. So this is a lot of information that I've sort of thrown at you all at once. Let me give you a quick recap. So we've got 3 techniques here. Technique 1 is playing those parts, you humans. If you don't have a mic, you could literally just use a smartphone like I did. I know you have one of those. Record yourself clapping, maybe an egg shaker, maybe like a jar of rice, things that you already have in your household. Technique 2 is to use a vinyl warp effect or something like it. If you don't have one, check the free download link in the description. Technique 3 is to experiment with the placement of your drums. Experiment with maybe placing them ahead of the beat, behind the beat. I would suggest to go bold with this one. I use a combination of these 3 techniques in pretty much all of my tracks. So there you go. You're all set up. Yo! Smash the subscribe button. Any sort of support to this channel is always greatly appreciated. Share, hit the notification bell, comment, like, subscribe. Much like TikTok, YouTube is just a great way to communicate with the online beatmaking community. You guys are really solid. Thanks so much for watching, and see you very, very soon. Ciao, ciao.